Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast. I am your host, Yvonne de la Flor. And today I have a beautiful, gorgeous, inside and outside guest, smart as she can be. She's a woman. She's an incredible mother, wife, teacher, mentor, and also a legacy doula. She's a beloved friend of mine. We've known each other now for quite a while, and she has the most beautiful accent. I always want to speak her native language, but let me introduce her to you. My beloved friend's name is Sandra, and I think I'm going to say her last name right because we were practicing before. Sandra Nikolic, S. Nikolic. Sandra is a leadership mentor with a Ph.D. in motivation and burnout. I know you are going to have questions about this. I have questions about this. Her main topics of her leadership work with entrepreneurs, CEOs, coaches, and mentors are mastery, grace, and sovereignty, qualities that she embodies perfectly well. She's on the path of spiritual, somatic, and quantum energetics work since 2011. She's the author of Quantum Subconscious Reframe Method and Tantrica Masculine and Feminine Teachings for Personal and Professional Mastery. She is not a business mentor, but a legacy doula. She's a proud mother, wife, and an avid prayer practitioner. She's a poet and an intuitive painter, and one of the most prepared and intuitive women people I know. My beloved Sandra, welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast with your Mexican host.
Thank you. It's an honor and beyond exciting to talk with you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, and let's start. Let's start. Tell us a little bit. Who is Sandra S. Nikolic, and where does your spiritual work, your search for the divine, your communion with prayer, where does it begin? Tell us a little bit about your background, where you are from, and who is Sandra, little girl growing up.
So I am born and raised and still living in Serbia, small European country that used to be part of Yugoslavia. And my spiritual journey started when I was 5 because I really felt a very strong connection to the Divine Mother. And even though my family wasn't very religious, I see it as a blessing because I was able to experience my relationship with spirituality without these sometimes detrimental traditional influences. So I would spend a lot of time with my grandparents, and my grandma spoke to me about the Holy Mother, Mother Mary, and I felt it as most loving and natural energy from the beginning. And for a while I even wanted to change my name to Maria. I was like, why did you give me name Sandra? Like, that's not the proper name. So I'm from that very young age very much connected with the divine, both mother and the father. Although I need to say that it wasn't so much religious as personal and mystical path.
Oh wow! So, what's the difference? It was not religious, but a personal mystical path. I think that people need to know a little bit about that difference because for some people they may be confused. What do you mean religion, mysticism, and we speak a lot about that in this podcast. But in your own words, tell people what is the difference for you that instead of going in a religious path, you went in the path of the mystic, and I get excited of that.
Well, to put it super practically, because like yourself, I love to put things into everyday context when it comes to spirituality. So I would not go to Sunday sermons or things like that, but I would often go to church on my own. And I from a very early age and throughout the elementary school, I had this like personal, that's what I felt like, personal relationship with the divine. And later on, I realized it's called mysticism, and that, of course, it's a path that is present in every religious path. However, I did not feel that the dogmatic approach really nourishes this hunger that I had. Someone might say I don't know, maybe egoistic, because I want divine all for myself. I don't want a middleman. I don't want some kind of
I love
like.
that. I love that. Let's talk a little bit about that. Because we don't want the middleman, and the middleman is the churches. The middleman is all the beliefs. The middleman is all what government tells you should believe. You know why? Why? There's a powerful word called prajna, wisdom, which is also direct experience. And I think that's why I love that of you, that you are like, let's quit the middle stuff, like the lukewarm, the middleman, and let's just have a direct experience. And I love, you were just talking like, ecstatic, Sandra. You were talking like with the female version of Rumi. Like the divine is only for me. I love, love, love that. Yogananda will be proud of you, by the way.
Yes, I love Sufism. I love Rumi. It's love is not the strong enough word, and I was fortunate also to come at a very young age. So now we are talking about 15. Uh, to the I was privileged to get at that time rare books. Now they're not, and that's great. Of Serbian mystic, and his work in, again, my language and in a way my tradition, because it's then similar, was really a revelation to me. My dad gave it to me on some holiday and said, like, read this. And I told him after reading one book, I'll never be able to read something silly like newspaper ever again.
Oh, so why? What impacted you of those readings? Tell us.
Because uh, this now actually he's pronounced saint a few
Mm.
years ago, but he spoke so openly, not in the form of the poetry, but he was, in my opinion, one of the greatest speakers of the 20th century.
Mm.
And he had lectures in London, in US. He had 2 PhDs, and he was extremely well educated and well spoken. And he brought all of his like intellect and mysticism into his books. And I just like could read a sentence and be like, whoa, like I inhaled. Like one of the quotes is like, God, there's too much of you. That's why some people don't see you. There's too much of you.
Wow, can you repeat the quote? I love it. I just felt the energy of that.
God, there is too much of you. That is why some people don't notice you.
Wow, I just felt that. I just went into like, I just entered your temple, Sandra. I'm like, okay, I'm humbled. Wow. And you read that and you enter into this. You chose from going, instead of going through the religious path that many of us have gone, you choose the mystic path. And what begins to happen? Tell us, because, and go as far and as intimate as you are able to go publicly. We are a podcast that goes in Latin America to the English, Spanish, English speaking people over there, and some people in the United States, in Europe. So as far as you can go. But so you take this mystic path, and then what happens? What experiences in your life begin to pave your path to become such an incredible mentor, teacher, and leader?
Well, I feel it as there are many like influences, but what I now see as my path was to have this direct relationship with God. and with the divine. And that also meant that we argued a lot. Like, I, in my entire life, have never argued with someone the way I.
I love this. I love this. Arguing with God. Wow, this just liberated a whole new spectrum. Keep going. Keep going.
So it was, from my side, of course, a very turbulent relationship at periods. I would like, but the funny thing is, no matter how angry I was because of the situation in the world, because of floods, because of child trafficking, like I would literally hear a story, because unfortunately my country has been through many wars, and then I would hear some story and I would not be able to get out of the bed. Like, literally, it would make me that shaken. And I would argue a lot, like, you are almighty. How come you're almighty? This looks like nothing. Like, I'm not okay with this. How can you allow this? So I was very angry. And that's actually, I think I was so genuinely angry, like from
Mm.
my soul. I was like, no, this is not right. That I started getting mystical experiences. Like, I would have visions without any plant medicine or anything like that. I would have visions that like gave me peace, provided answers, explanations. So
So you
for
are,
the
let me
last
just
few
jump
years,
in here. Let me just
sorry.
jump in here because you are the only person that has told me, like, publicly, and I love this. I was quarreling with God. I'm like, hey, God, what is this? This is war in Serbia, like child trafficking. What? You are the Almighty, and this is what you are creating. I absolutely love this. But I love that you actually questioning and entering this conversation through, yeah, I call it, for you in this context, is conversations with God in times of war. Neil Donald Walsh, don't copy our, our theme, or use it. But I think you were having these very heated conversations, really open, like a lover and beloved, but really open. And God was open for your communication. And instead of God's wrath and how dare you talk to God like that, you began to have mystical experiences. Tell us a little bit, a couple of the mystical experiences that you began to have.
Well, I start sensing that there are many realms, so that there is what would we would now say, there's no one universe, this is multiverse, and what we are seeing in one aspect of time, in this being in the here and now, is not the whole story. And I realized, what does it mean that God is justice is God's part, and the logics as well, because we literally cannot comprehend so many things merging and happening at the same time. It's not really like good, bad, heaven, hell. It's not like super simple. I saw that the universe is like the connection of neurons. What would I now be able to like find something to compare it with? And it was also a lot about frequency. Like, I felt that in these higher spheres you don't speak but sing. And then it was like, of course, people in every church in the world sing. Like, mother sings to its baby, because singing is a way different frequency than conversation. And so, like, dots were matching. And for those atrocities, I've seen how important it is to pray for the victims, to pray for people instead of judging, because the gift of free will is there for all of us, and we can, as you said, and that's one of the dearest teachings in my life, you said, everything has right to exist and I have the right to choose. So of course I'm not on board that everything has right to exist when it comes to
Amen.
atrocities, but I have the right to choose how will I, in my universe that I'm aware of in the here and now, either contribute or be a part